Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is me, Iamtongue, and today we are doing something different. I have a few requests for this video on what kind of film simulations I use for my portraits. So I thought I'll just give you a little bit of my insight and my thought process. Sorry for these crooked lines over here. We're going to go into the Adobe Lightroom, and I took this shot right here of a lovely lady by the name of Natalie. So I guess I want to show you guys my film simulation and what I use. First thing you want to do is to, go in and do any adjustments you need to do to make the image come to life. As you can see here, I have my basic adjustment done with my little S curves here and my little color grading and my sharpening and all that jazz. Once you bring your photo to life and you are happy with where it stands at the moment, I usually like to go right here where it says profile, and you can see all these profiles right here, and then you can see all the film simulations that are here too, right? So we're just gonna go through them one by one. Usually by default, when you import your Fujifilm RAWs into Adobe Lightroom, it converts back into Adobe Color. That's the standard color profile. I'm not really a fan of the Adobe color profile. Right before I do my edits, I usually go straight into like the Fujifilm film simulations. There are two that I use often, and then two more that I rarely use, but they do make the photo stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to show you my 4 film simulations that I use. So the first one I really like using a lot, and what I've been using a lot lately is the classic chrome. So right now we're in Adobe color profile. We're just gonna switch it to classic chrome. As you can see in the photo, it added a little bit of contrast to the photo, and it also changed her skin tone as well. So this is my favorite film simulation to use at the moment because it gives me the look that I want without me having to go in and adjust any curves that much. The thing about these film simulations is they already applied their own sort of curves to it. When you do edit them in these film simulations, you don't need to apply any more curves if you don't want to. Just know that it has a look baked in already, so you don't have to do that much. It adds the contrast, it gives the photo more depth in the images, and it just pops more. Just take a look at the Adobe Color where it was at. So you can see it's a little bit dull with my adjustments, right? But then once you switch it over to Classic Chrome, a little bit of contrast in here, a little bit of life, and it just makes the photo stands out more than just the Adobe Color. The second film simulation I like using a lot for portraits is the Eterna. So this one right here gives your photo more of a cinematic look to it. It gives a filmic look to it, which I totally like, but there, as you can see right here, it's a little bit flat. So I don't use it as much as I want to at the moment because I'm really liking classic chrome a lot more because it's contrastier. But the Eterna film simulation also looks really good. So it just depends on my mood and what I like. There are just days where I can't decide. So probably show you another photo which Eterna would look good in. I like this, but let's go to Eterna. You see I added a bit of contrast. I can just remove that, and then you can cool it down a bit. My philosophy on using Eterna is if you want to make your images look movie-like and more cinematic, just choose the Eterna film simulation because it's the best way to get your photo to look close to the cinematic. So all you got to do is just, spice it up a little with your own color grading and your own contrast, and from there, your photos will look a lot better. I'm going to take this photo and then we'll go from there. Well, I'll just edit it for you real quick. Let's go here. Add a little bit of contrast right there. And I don't like how warm this is, so I'm just gonna cool it a little bit, give it a cool vibe. And you can see what I mean after. Because of the Eterna film simulation, it's already looking very cinematic, movie-like. If you go back to, Adobe Color, there it is again. It just looks boring, and then you put it back to Eterna, and it sort of gives it that, cinematic movie feeling, and that's one thing that I really love with Eterna. So moving on, I'm just going to just give a little grade maybe. Let's see where do this and then just add a little bit of blue into the shadows because that's how you make it look movie-like. And let's add a little bit of blue in here too. And then for the midtones, there we go, to balance it out. And to me, that's already looking very cinematic-like. And if you want to go further from here, yeah, you can add your curves if you want to make it give it a little more contrast. You don't need to lift up the shadows because the Eterna film simulation is doing that already. I don't know, something like that. It's already looking like very cinematic, so very moody. Like it looks like a stills from a movie. And that's why this is my second favorite film simulation. And then the other two, so this is Provia. I think it just gives a more colorful, more punchy image than the classic chrome. Classic chrome gives you like, you know, a flat, contrasty look. Eterna is even flatter than that. And Provia just brings that all back. It doesn't lift your shadows. It doesn't give you that much contrast, but it also gives you a punchy, vibrant image. And that's why I like this one. I don't use it a lot, but I do like it on some occasions. If it's not for my personal work, like my personal project, then I would use this for like shooting brands and stuff like that, because I feel like this is what brands want in an image. They don't want it to be like contrasty and moody. They want something more vibrant. All the photos that I've been seeing from like other brands, they have that vibrant look to it. So this is an image that I'm working on, and originally I had it on Classic Neg. Classic Negative is one of those film simulations where it just looks really, really good. It looks really warm, really vintage. I'll show you right now, right there. And you know, it just makes everything look vintage, like very, very film-like. If you guys are into that old school film look, I never shoot film, but this is what I imagine film to look like. The colors are a little bit warmer, and you can see it by the skin tones that, you know, she's a little bit warm. I actually had to decrease her skin tones a little bit because I find that it was a little warm. This one has rich tones as well. I would say if you're using this for portraits, fall aesthetics are good, or like weddings are good to use this because, you know, it gives that earthy tones which people like when they shoot portraits. A lot of people are drawn to that orange and teal look. Classic Neg can make it look really, really good. Just move it a little so that it'd be orange and teal. Yes. Yeah, sure. And then that's it. Let's start with the Adobe Color. See, that's the Adobe Color. This is what people usually start off with. So if you're feeling a little adventurous and you want to check out the film simulations, these are my favorite ones. So you got Provia, then you got Eterna, Classic Chrome, see, and then there's Classic Negative. It just like adds more contrast into the shadows, and it just makes the image so punchy. I don't use this a lot because of that reason. Sometimes I feel that Classic Negative can be a little bit much on portraits, but it has its use cases. I used Classic Neg on this image because I wanted to get that warm vintage feeling, something different, feels retro. This film simulation definitely adds to the mood because Classic Chrome doesn't give that same effect in my eyes, in my opinion. When I went straight to Classic Negative, I'm like, yeah, that's the one. This is the film simulation that I wanted to use. And you know, yeah, those are my favorite film simulations that I use for portraits. I also like using Acros. When I shoot photos, I don't see in black and white, but Acros black and white has its moments where I'm just like, oh my god, this photo looks so good black and white. I'll show you another one. See, like, it's very powerful. Acros, if you look at the color, it just looks so boring. So that's another reason to use Acros. Okay, when you feel there aren't really good colors or the colors are clashing, I would just convert it into black and white. Acros is probably like the best black and white filter out there right now. So like, look, it just makes the photo look so much better. Like, look at that to that. I understand why people like black and white so much, and you know, it makes the photo look timeless. It does give like an extra dimension that you don't get if it was color. Black and white photos can be so powerful with an image, and it could even improve an image just being in black and white. The Acros does have its moments where I will bust it out. I'll show you another reason why I use Acros. This image. The reason why I made this into a black and white was because the background was really boring. It's so freaking boring. Like, I'll show you. When we were at the studio, it was a rectangle. So there were like this wall right here. It was just only the brown leather couch. There wasn't really much there. It was just like old vintage stuff, like record players and stuff like that. So everything was like earthy tones, right? Looking at this picture right here that I shot, you know, I thought the walls were so boring. The walls was white, right? And like the colors here aren't that good right here. Like the green plants right here, and then the white curtains. And all this stuff right here, it was just annoying to me. So I had the idea to turn it into black and white. I feel like this photo works a lot better in black and white because of it. Like, you solely focus on the model instead of turning into color, and then you're just distracted by all these unnecessary stuff, like these stupid plants right here and the stupid wall. Like, the studio is so ugly. I'm sorry. Oh man, they're never gonna invite me back ever again. I don't know what Fuji baked into their raw files with all these film simulations, but I could never get my black and white to look this good. Try editing in black and white with like a Sony raw files or something. I don't think you can achieve this right here. But yeah, hope you guys understand my process, my thought process on what film simulations I use for my portraits, and hope you guys learned something and took something away from this video. Of course, there are more film simulations I didn't touch on. You know, there's Velvia, but that's not for portraits. I stay away from that. There's plenty of more film simulations, right, that I didn't touch on. But if you guys do use other film simulations, let me know which one you use for portraits and why, and maybe I'll use it for my next shoot and see how that goes. That is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and hope you guys learned something. And don't forget to follow me on my social media at Iamtongue. That's where you're gonna see more of my work. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, my name is Tongue. I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Okay, bye.
Keep dancing with the